America is very good at living in the myth of America. You can't train away bias. You can't train away bigotry. He knows that he can step on the line where freedom of speech is, and that the Supreme Court will not slap his hand away.
And those people haven't given Black people reparations. Right. That needs to be addressed. We are living in literal serfdom. This is like a new medieval happening. This impacts everybody in the United States.
They cannot stand us to have anything.
And once they have established this as a precedent, they are going up the chain.
It has nothing to do with the American people. It is all about power.
What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers that's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care, and being part of that collaboration in 2022 and 2021. Reached out with a team directly and indirectly to over 100,000 fathers around the world. And we're broadcasting live on June 24th. I hope those who celebrated it had a great Father's Day recently. Wow, so much stuff going on. This week. I had a feeling this afternoon when we were in the back channel discussing conversation topics, say this could be a long conversation tonight, because there are conversation topics. There's some we left off, and we'll talk about briefly in them. I think we're going to call the warm-up, either the warm-up or the appetizer. I don't know, something like this. Oh, and I forgot to do something. Okay, I did it. All right. I had to do the trademark, the LaLa trademark. So before we get the ladies up to the platform, always say, please like the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Also, please like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook and LinkedIn. And we'll get to Discord in a minute, because the Discord channel was on fire this week. But let's get as we say, the ladies up. Aisha K, Jill D, and LaLa are in the house. What is going on? Yes, let's make it happen. Absolutely. What's going on, ladies? This has been a week.
Can't keep up.
It has been a week.
Oh my goodness. How are each of y'all doing?
Good.
I can't complain. You know, I think I got the better end of it. You guys sound like you're really hot back east.
It is really hot where I am. Like, it's like 90 degrees with humidity, well, 80 with about 95 with humidity.
Oh my! See, that's what we have a little bit of heat. It started to warm up a bit on the West Coast, but now, I mean, it's a little cloudy at different times, rainy, whatever. But I think we've had the easiest summer so far. I mean, it just started, but
yes.
Did anybody get a glimpse of Venus and Jupiter? Wait, Venus and Saturn, and was it Jupiter? There was like a whole alignment the other night, a couple of nights ago.
Oh wow!
And you see it next to the moon. So when you see it really bright, Venus is always so bright, and it's always this time of year, and I love it because it's around the summer solstice. So, I mean, it was spectacular. If you ever look up and think, what's that? Is that something just frozen in the sky? It's that bright. It's like as bright as that thing right beside Dr. Vibe's head, like that light.
Yeah.
Here's like that. And you go, oh my gosh, I'm one of the wise men, you know.
Are you calling me a wise man, Jill?
I'm convinced that the star that the three wise men saw had to be Venus. Love,
Okay.
you know. Softy. But yeah, as far as like this week, man, it was crazy.
Not so crazy madness. Let's do a few things. The gang is already here. Cinnamon Canella.
Hey,
hello,
Cinnamon.
Everyone. Tila goes, y'all back again? Time flies.
I know.
You're just like crazy. What is up, Jen? What is
Hey,
up?
Jen.
What is up? And Laura's always saying, hello, beautiful family. So they're interacting with y'all. We're doing all this. Jill, look who this. Better the three wise men than the four horsemen.
She's trying to get me to flip my wig, I think, saying stuff like that. I will flip my wig.
And that's also, so Blue Rains is in the house. Wow, you're all here early. You're feeling something tonight. You're feeling something tonight. You're feeling something tonight. Now, and also, big shout out to Jen and Cinnamon Canella, because they have been on fire in the Discord room this week. The Discord room was like out of bounds. I couldn't even respond because every time I wanted to respond, one of y'all was putting something new. I said, I'm just gonna be in the audience.
I had to go and take a walk because I do my walks, and I was looking. There's a park that I go to that has like a library inside of it with a museum, little art thing, and I read a lot of the articles that were submitted through Discord because I was like, I've got to make this an official business situation, like go somewhere, sit down and focus on all these crazy stories, because it's kind of like astounding to see what's going on locally or something that you didn't catch, or I mean, it never stops. The disruption in the world is just endless.
And that's just us all looking. Like, can imagine, I mean, you've got all of our eyes on it, but there's so much more going on that we don't know about.
I mean, the animal kingdom has changed so much where they're actually acting with humankind, like with kindness and generosity. I don't know if I posted that little monkey who rescued the cat that was in the well, and the other shook the other monkey and said, like, go get help from a human, and the human and help lift it out. But it was the best thing I saw all week, was just this monkey just sitting there making sure this little kitten who got stuck in this mud and everything. It was, I wish I saw more humans like that, but that's why I'm going to turn into a cat.
So when they do the next Batman, are you going to be the Catwoman?
Yeah, I know, right? Cat lady.
Sorry, cat lady.
Probably not the Catwoman.
Respect. Oh my gosh! And
I think my outfit will be a lot different than Catwoman.
We're gonna move forward. I went too deep already. All right. Tamara says it's 100 degrees in Texas. Yeah, I've heard Texas is getting some ridiculous heat.
I don't see how you do it.
Well, it tends to be hot, isn't it?
Oh Lord.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
I'll tell you, the hottest I've ever been was in Mississippi at 100.
You got to get rid of Avid. Sorry,
I can't.
Texas has to go, y'all. Come on. Yeah, he's just trouble. It follows him. He's getting real comfortable down there. That's what these temperatures are.
They all are.
All right. So Tila's saying, beautiful ladies and one handsome guy. Thank you.
Nice.
And she says, Dr. Vibe. So cheers. Thank you. Jen goes, Discord. 100%.
Yes. Oh my gosh. If you're not joining us on Discord, please do, because the conversation is great. You can always tell during the week when I'm on my lunch break, because that's when I take a lunch break, and I just I don't do anything else. I sit outside on my balcony, and I'm like reading Discord, and I'm reading all the articles, and then you can tell when I'm done with work, because I'm really
I know.
Yeah. Oh, this is so good. And yeah, Jen is saying, hey, Dr. Vibe, doing a loving Discord. Good stuff. Wigmania goes, D, Jill. Okay, Wigmania, what is the Discord address? Email me. So I'll put it up here again. I didn't put up yet. So there we go. Join the State of Things group. Email me at this email address, and I will put you on Toot Sweet. Like, I mean, wow. Like this, it's got so crazy. I think we're just going to do a new segment on State of Things. I don't know what to call it, the appetizer or the warm up, because there are things we're not going to get to today.
I know.
Unless you want to hang out with us for 4 hours. There are things we're not going to get to today. So
I know, or we're going to have to do 2 shows a week.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't mind.
On Discord for sure.
Otherwise, I have to go get my coffee. I'll be up like, hold on, y'all, I can get my coffee break.
No, I got my coffee, and it's crazy because I won't probably sleep tonight. But
Okay.
I know you guys can't have coffee this late, or hot
I don't
chocolate.
drink coffee. I don't drink coffee.
I can drink coffee any time of the day or night. It doesn't affect my ability to sleep.
I used to be like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
All
really
right.
good if you have migraines. Tony, caffeine helps. I have them. Caffeine is a lifesaver.
So, should we just have a mishmash of stories? I don't want to put them all. I'll just mention them, and you give your takes on it just quickly. First thing, Wagner rebel chief halts tank advance on Moscow to stop bloodshed. So this just landed this morning that I guess a fringe group of a gentleman who used to support me or is allegedly a supporter of Mr. Putin in Russia. A bunch of troops were going to march on Moscow, and by later on the day, they turned it back. Anyone have any quick takes on it?
He was his chef.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
and it's so crazy because he. My take on it are a few things. It could be staged. I've heard that because a few weeks ago, our CIA had been putting out things that were encouraging people to become volunteers. And basically, it was like a really weird way to troll people in Russia. And so then Russia came back and started trolling online here, asking for the same things, like people to spy and help them. And so then ultimately it sort of emerged that this guy, Prigozhin, whatever his name is, at the Wagner Group, which is a mercenary group, he basically has been saying, well, Putin, you created this war for the wrong reasons, basically. He started spreading that around. And so a lot of people, I heard Fox News today going and saying, how, is America behind this coup that's happening? Marjorie Taylor Greene said the same thing. And I got to say, I'm a little bit annoyed that we always assume that our country is creating a coup. I think it's very un-American to do that. I think Putin has more than enough enemies to have a lot of people wanting to turn his upside down. And secondly, he's also mental enough to think of doing it himself in order to garner more attention, because I still think that the army that he has is incompetent. And I think when he runs out of these wolf tickets, like, I'm going to blow this up, I'm going to do whatever. I'm not saying that he won't do that, but I'm just saying that even he knows how to put brakes on. So every time he gets to the precipice after, I'm going to blow it up, something weird happens to get him out of the conundrum of like, okay, either shoot or draw. I mean, it's like, okay, what are we going to do? So that, and then for us, and so America, our own intelligence is stupid enough. They know like a crazy person like that is not somebody that you would want to destabilize their government like this, because I still believe, as much as I'm always saying, where's our Jason Bournes or where's our people? So what if we did do it? I mean, why should I give a I mean, honestly, when did America when are the citizens on Fox sitting up there being like Russian TV, state TV? Fox News is Russia. It's state TV. Oh, the sympathy of poor Putin. Oh my God, f off, people. So what if we did do it? I'd be like, yo, but I will say the reason I'm not so sure we did it, because when we do decide to take that out, it'll be swift, fast, and in a hurry. And it is not going to be broadcast like some kabuki theater. It will be like all of our stuff is done. It is
here's the other part too.
It's not our work, okay? This Wagner is not our work. And we all know that. We know it is not our work. Now, they're just falling apart. Sorry to go on.
No, but here's the other part too, with the Republicans in our country and their nonsense over this is that, the news is reporting that our intelligence knew about this going on Wednesday. They briefed the important people on Wednesday, which brings us back to something else we're going to talk about. But this is why what Donald Trump did with those documents is so scary, because he would have told everybody everything that was going on, because he can't even stop running his mouth to the point that he's not giving Jack Smith video evidence to use against him. So imagine if he had been in office and this had happened, right? He wouldn't go just tell the gang of 8 that's supposed to know this stuff. He'd go tell Marjorie Taylor Greene, and her running her mouth would go on the floor and just, like they were doing trailer trash it up on the floor, her Lauren Boebert exchanging back and forth, and eventually somebody was going to say something like, well, Trump tells me this and this and this, and then all of our stuff would fall apart. So you know what? You didn't need to know, because you can't stop running your mouth. This is,
and how about you don't even have clearance to know?
She doesn't have the highest, right? She doesn't have the highest of clearance, and that's another reason why Donald Trump should not be elected again. Ever. I actually just wrote an article about this, but it's another reason, because things like this are so sensitive. The whole plot would have been unfolding on social media, and we would have it would have
as it was going along. This would have been leaked on the same day.
They were doing it on social media, right? Russia was doing their business on social media. We didn't need to jump in that.
This was kabuki, and then Belarus says, "Hey, Prigozhin, you can come and stay in our country." That's an annex. That's like going to Russia too. Oh, he's going to just pack it up and go live there like
Moscow light.
That don't make no sense. It doesn't even make any sense. I'd be like, yo, get me a plane and a pilot. And it just sounds so weird. This was a maneuver, in my opinion. And then to hear Fox saying whatever trying to twist it around with some woman who came here to America on my liberal voting policies, I wanted to send her back. It was like, you're Russian, so now you're going to tell us about, you're going to, I can't even believe it came out of her mouth to toy with the concept that our CIA was creating a coup, or that something about our president.
Well, she is the party that would know about a coup, right?
To come here from countries that are like third world and to really flip on our president. I'm getting older and I can't stand it. I'm like, shut the fuck up. You, if you haven't been here more than like 10 years, sit your down somewhere, because if you haven't been here, that off, you don't have a right to do that, to go for this. Not on the policies that brought you here through immigration. Everybody knows that Republicans do not promote immigration, and all of those policies that have ever been approved are all Democrat based.
Yes.
So you owe us at least put some respect on the name.
Yeah, and understand that the reason Fox is making this a bigger deal than it probably needs to be, at least the coup aspect of it, is one, they know what a coup is.
Yes.
Because they tried to do one in this country.
Hello.
2, because they need a distraction from the fact that the Hunter Biden thing that we're going to talk about later did not land the way that they were hoping it would.
Yes.
And people cannot stop talking about the fact that Donald Trump screwed up with our secrets. They can't get around it.
And he left our classified documents around his
even the talk about an impeachment ended up being a cat fight between two people on the Congress floor. They couldn't even get that part to take hold of the news cycle. So right now, all they're trying to do is they're grasping for straws. They're grasping for news. They're trying to get people all upset and worried about everything. And again, it's a distraction. It is a distraction.
Yes, I'm waiting for the rabbit to be pulled out of the hat, because that's all this is a big smoke screen. We don't really know what happened. Yes, they leaked stuff, but I'm going to tell you, there's always stuff that we're not supposed to know. Exactly. And I'm still sitting in the back going, something's happening behind the scenes we don't know about. So we need to be ready.
We had just spoken last week about Eric Prince.
Yes.
With his mercenary group. And we also know that what's been going on in Africa, Wagner has always been a shadow for Russia. But then somewhere down in Africa, the Wagner group was doing something and Russia was starting to pull away from it. And we think that Prigozhin was having a problem with some of the generals that Russia has fighting Ukraine. But the reality is that Russia attacked some of the mercenaries and that's why they say this dude bugged out. So the biggest question now is what happens? Was this just a way for Putin to find all the rats, like who was going to join in with the Wagner group, because he was like freaked out that, CIA was soliciting rats basically, and to find out who was going to join in. So that now they're all like going crazy because he was able to just basically waltz into Rostov and a couple of other cities and provinces and just set up shop without anything from the Russian people. Like they weren't going to, like, if Putin was thinking somebody was going to stop in the name of love or in the name of Putin, to the no. They were out there taking pictures in front of these old tanks. Okay, y'all. Okay.
That's the new Motown, right, Moscow?
I have been saying it for years. These old tanks, girl. And here's another interesting thing. So the Army sends out this, there was an article by a general recently that I was reading about, and they were talking about the new training with armies and why the Ukraine has been kicking Russia so fiercely and why they have to resort to thermal weapons because they're such. But basically, because Ukraine have been fighting underground as well. It's a new training that even our army and military have started to do. This is not our mama's military anymore. None of them are. So if Putin wants to have a read on his people to join up, it isn't not like 1945 or 1960 where people are going to run out in arms and I'm going to do this. That don't fly. These young people got their phones. They're just the most that's going to happen is it's going to be on the gram. They're not picking up guns as much or rebellion unless they're being told to do it. So they're fighting underground in tunnels. And it is something that it is an new urban way of fighting. They do it in Korea as well, because one issue that Russia had was that with all the bombings and stuff, there were territorial things like, where are we? Like, where the are we? This building's not here anymore as a landscape. But when you know the tunnels and when you know a city based upon that, that's how Ukraine has been able to do this. And they're training many more now.
Okay, so, I'm going to cut it because we could spend the rest of the conversation on this. And there's there's some conversation topics we're not going to get to. I'm just going to mention them briefly. We may come back to them maybe in the near future because they're green. One of the things I saw this week are death threats and harassment. 2024 election workers already scared. The ladies already mentioned about Marjorie Taylor Greene lashing out on Ms. Borbert on the House floor. And I think we can get to this in a few weeks' time because it's going to all go on forever. Prosecutors request delaying 45's classified documents trial until December. So those are things we're not going to get to, but we're going to get to.
I didn't hear that last one.
Yeah, they did just the other day.
Yeah. So Aisha, you have to come off line for minutes.
I got it. I'm good.
All right. We're all good. All right. So let's get to our first official conversation piece. And again, this could be a long conversation just on this one right here. The whole area about the Titan submersible accident.
All right. Well, I guess I'll start on this one. I'm conflicted. I'm very conflicted. I try not to get into what people do with their money. Okay. There's a line that I have where I'm like, okay, I know you billionaires need to be doing something, but there were some good people on that submarine. And the father-son situation was extremely sad because they were very close. And he also was one to give back to the community, and he was teaching his son to do the same thing. He also was very excited about exploration. So I understand that. So I'm going to draw the line by not trying to make it a billionaire thing, but it's very hard not to make it a money thing and greed thing when you had also so many immigrants that died in the same week that were not discussed. And all the focus was on this piece of garbage that went down there when he didn't even have this thing built right. And he was bragging on the fact that he didn't have it built right. You're running that thing with an Amazon controller. And I know they had a couple of successful, but now everybody's coming out of the woodwork talking about, well, we were kind of scared when we went down there. Well, then why didn't you say something before now? Now you have people who have died, families who have lost people, and now who's going to pay for all of this? And then you have, if the family sneezes, then somebody wants to do an article. This whole thing is tragedy, just plain tragedy. And it should never have been allowed for him to do this. But people with money can do anything they want to. Case in point, that's why we had this happen this week.
If you have like an Xbox or a PlayStation, you know how fragile those game controllers are. People are replacing them all the time. What on earth? And like you said, LaLa, there were some good people on there. My issue really is with the man who built this thing, the billionaire who built this thing and was taking people's money to go down there. First of all, the Titanic has been down there for 100+ years. Let it stay. It's not going to look the way it did. If you want to, guess what? They've sent video cameras down there. You could take the exploration. You weren't going to get out of there anyway and like dive through and swim through it. That's for me, I don't understand that, one. But two, the other part is that he was told and he disregarded. Why? Because he's wealthy. No one can tell me anything. It's like the Elon Musk paradigm, right? Where people are like, look, people are leaving Twitter because of this. This is going to happen because of this. And he's like, well, I can do what I want. It's my platform. And that is basically what this man did. When you look at the original, the footage from his website of the original vessel that they went in, first of all, what makes you, as somebody who owns that, to think that this thing that looks like those old school Tylenol pills that used to have little beads, the ones that they said that they were putting cyanide in, it looked like that. Okay, and 5 people fitting in that. I mean, Cessnas crash all the time. This thing was smaller than a Cessna, and to think that it was going to survive. This thing looked like it was being held together by a paperclip and 2 rubber bands. It did not look stable. It did not look safe. And the fact that people told him that this is not safe, what did he do? He fired them.
Yes.
He fired them to silence them. Okay.
But even so now Cameron talked about his vessel when they went down there. And y'all know that he had state-of-the-art stuff. He was doing his thing right. Okay. He even said that it's so volatile down there that this current came whipping through when they went down there and they got caught in the Titanic's propeller. He said, you don't understand, this propeller is massive and we are in this little thing and we're caught, and we were caught down there for an hour and pieces of the Titanic were falling down on us. And this is things that you have to be planned for. And he had state of the art, not some poo butt play in the bathtub toy that this man had built. But he was in high tech stuff, and he still was afraid. So, Mother Nature is not pleased, and it doesn't play with us.
No, and think about this. The Titanic was supposed to be unsinkable.
Yes.
It's at the bottom of the ocean. What makes you think, what makes you think some cheaply made little piece of tin is not going to suffer the same fate?
I think that for me, the biggest dynamic in this, rather than dealing with the private sector, entrepreneurs who, when they run into trouble, need help at the end of it all, and which amassed a fortune in however much we actually accumulated searching for them. The biggest question does come back to, why were they even allowed to be in business? There's a massive failure in that. Whoever was running that, there's a bunch of people that need to have their heads on the chopping block. Because if there's one, there's more negligence and there's more going on here. I mean, you know, all of these things. I get innovation and you're trying to do things, but it was not at a level where it was to be transactional relationships, exchanging $500,000 for those two people, the kid and the father, to go on. So secondly, the other thing that was so upsetting, and I get it, LaLa, with the people in Greece who were refused any kind of saving because Greece basically shut the door, and a radio station tried desperately to get all these people help. But really, what that was Greece saying, we don't want you, and to store. Bye. That is a huge story. It's just one line. Greece said no and allowed those people to die and didn't lift a finger. That's exactly what happened.
And they're not sorry about it.
Yeah.
And they weren't, and they're not sorry. And
remember, our Coast Guard does not work for free.
But I mean, and I get that. But then the dynamic for me, which is more important, was the conversation of parents. I found parents very touched by this situation of like, do you force your kid to do something that they don't want to do? And where is this exchange? It kind of resonated where me and a few parents that I know just sat back quietly like, wow, your children really do try to please you. They do. Yes. They are watching. They are doing things. But he went to his aunt and apparently told her that he was terrified and didn't want to go, that according to her alleged claim.
But it was Father's Day.
Think that your kid was vaporized and turned into fish food is horrific. I mean, all of them. There are people that we are dealing that for some reason, that what is so interesting resonated with people to be able to visualize an implosion, but a capsizing of another boat with bodies falling off doesn't. And I'm sorry, y'all. I'm like, was there not a video game that created that yet for you to digest properly? But there's been video games and movies that show people falling off where there is a desensitization going on with human beings.
Yeah.
They have ceased to be human and to have anything in them anymore. They are shells of things that make up situations because they can't handle the severity and the reality that people die, and sometimes does happen. It is not a master plan. And, you know, you take their Jesus away from them, their God, they will lose it. Yeah. These people need it.
And you know, our media
we have a situation where people put online boiling frogs in water and all sorts of. We have reached a point, and we expect these to give a shit. But the implosion got them because they hadn't realized that's what pressurizing in a cabin does. When you start bringing science, see, this shows you it's actually quite depressing on a whole. But the 700 and 250 people, and there will be more who will keep migrating. Why? Because there's something called climate change. And you want to see a lot of people crossing in ships. It might even be you yourself.
Yeah.
All right.
I think just one thing though.
Okay, go ahead.
The thing about the implosion, I think if they hadn't simulated it for people, when they were just saying it was an implosion, people could not visualize what it was until they simulated it. It reminded me of what the media doesn't do in terms of its job. They try to shell us, hide things from us, the severity of things. And when I thought about the implosion and I saw that video, it reminded me of when the Challenger exploded.
Yes.
And we saw that out live on TV as it happened. But then the newspaper detailed the body parts and things that they were finding when they went to go find the bodies. Here you're not hearing that, but to see the video.
Well, debris field pretty much tells you the saddest part is people had a hard time understanding what debris was.
Yeah. And that's the thing. They're saying it's debris, but they're not explaining what the debris is. Whereas when the Challenger exploded,
because
like,
people don't go to school. They don't understand cabin pressure.
Okay. All right. Let me just interrupt for a second, catch up on some things. So first things first, I'm going to keep on promoting it because it's hot right now. Join the State of Things with LaLa, Aisha, Jill, and LaLa Discord group. Please email me at dr.vibe@thedrvibeshow.com. And you can email me during the show, and I'll put you in the group in real time. No problem. Some other a lot of comments coming in, so let's catch up on this. First things first. The Autumn says, true words, desensitization is rampant. Eddie Prank says, government should not be shy. They are billionaire families. Send them condolences and 3 months later invoice them. Interesting. What does she also say? There's so many things. Okay.
You can't do that. There's LLCs, LPs. You know, this is why it's all under the guise of corporate entities. You have to bust all that up.
The Autumn says, what is the massive attraction to the Titanic? What else do we need to know? Then also, Tila said to the Autumn, yeah, I mean, you can see tons of underwater photos of the Titanic online. Museums have them. I prefer to see the Titanic from the comfort of my home. And the Autumn goes to Tila, amen. And Tila says, the Autumn, not to mention the movie is amazing, LOL.
But there was more to this. The guy who was the founder and in one of the little tubes that went down in the tube, his wife was a descendant of two people who died in the Titanic.
And that was his motivation.
One would be able to say that this guy has had a passion and a longing for it all his life. And in my belief, the way I believe about life, this was karmic, this whole thing. I don't know, you know, I have more Buddhist concepts, but I don't know who they were in a past life. This is just my belief on it. But the father and son both going together, karmic. For sure, it was a karmic circle. It was something being fulfilled and the depth of what it was supposed to mean for all of us. I just think that some people have an attraction to things and it's affinity. It's not even an attraction. It's an affinity to it. You feel really bonded to these events and things. There are people that I know who have been so attracted to the concept of 9/11 that they've made up stories that they were even in New York and they weren't. You know, it's so weird to me, but that's how people are.
But you know what though? Put it this way, the Titanic's not the only ship wrecked on the bottom of the ocean floor. There are slave ships that are wrecked on the bottom of the ocean floor. We are not trying to go down there and see them. You know what was good enough for me? They went down and they put a statue that someone built on land and they dropped it down where the wreckage was. And you know what? It was nice to see the pictures of it, the video of it. I have no desire to go down there to watch that.
And I get that. I think that for me, when I hear people with this whole thing of, it's not that it's a whataboutism, but there were a lot of what about. And when we throw up whataboutisms, we're actually discrediting the conversations the topics that we are dealing with, because these are about compassion and empathy. And it's not taking something away from another situation or crisis. It just really means there's something really quite pivotal that's going on, because if we say, well, the slave ships went down and whatever brings something full circle for people to start, therefore in their future as they go in life, they remember and they put it together, and the next time they see somebody falling over in the ocean or falling out of the sky, you know, life is precious, and we need to get back to the fact that it is. There's so many people doing callous things every day, and honestly, the movies, the TV, the videos, no one's ever going to convince me that they have not played a part in destroying how people treasure life.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I think my reason for bringing up the slave ship is that I don't understand the fascination. I'm like, you know, I know things that I am into and want to understand better. I do not understand and it might just be my fear of deep water, but I do not understand the fascination with going down there
because
to see something it's not even in its best shape.
But Aisha, the Titanic was all about class.
Yes, everything about class.
Yeah,
and it's crazy to think there were underclass people that died who couldn't get out because they were locked in. They were locked in. And the reason, because they wanted to make sure that the rich people got to get on the boats and get out. It has a horrible karma to it. Yeah. It's awful. Okay. And it's still a class system. We just watched it. and we need companies, these little companies with investors, and that, come on.
Well, let me say this too, because one of the passengers was supposed to also have been on I always like to call him everything but his name, Mr. Twitterhead, ship going up to space. We're going to say, I just can't say his name. I can't stand that man. It's just this is just, to me, the whole thing is gross. You got people dying on the streets.
Yeah.
You've got people who are hungry. You can't take care of your poor and the people here, but still yet you're out here doing this whole exploring thing, which don't get me wrong, I love science. Do it in the right way. But to me, if
it's okay for people to explore, though.
People got the rich people going up to space and going to do a reality show about it.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. We're going to see the same Titanic story up in space. You watch my words. We're going to see the exact same thing.
You know what?
We see it happen with astronauts. They go up and they're not necessarily guaranteed to come back down. These people think that that's going to be okay. It's like,
but they are trained, and they're trained, and there's a big difference. But for me, rich people can do whatever they want. They've been doing it, but our laws have not been in place to stop them from doing certain things.
Yes.
They up the oceans with their cruises and their yachts and this has been going on. This is about the people you vote for and put in office. We have no one to blame but ourselves. Corruption, money, where do we start? How do we get one country to do anything?
All right.
We can't.
I'm going to move on for a little bit.
The rich elites are supreme, and they are above all laws, guys.
Yep.
That's it. Okay. They just are.
Okay. So let me catch up with some conversation pieces. The Autumn says, to disturb the souls that were lost is a karmic act. Also, the Autumn says, not to take away from the wonderment, common sense, please.
Yes.
Yes. Karen D says, good evening, all. The Autumn also says, there was a unique mix of people on that shift. The descendants are not all able to afford such expensive indulgence. So there is no excuse. Really?
Sure. Right, and remember how deep. Think about how deep a glacier iceberg is, and how deep it reaches. And that the people who were the poorest were at the bottom, the bellows of the ship. So when they hit that iceberg, they got the brunt of it.
Yeah.
Remember, and they knew they were dead. Think of it, while they were loading up and they were playing and singing the music. All the people underground were dead already. Yep. When it was halfway, when you watch the Titanic again, just know it wasn't really like the movie. I mean, that's really kind of crazy. And it's apparent that I feel like the guy drawn to this was just, maybe he was somebody on the ship before in a past life, and he had to go back to repeat it.
You mean like the captain that they were telling, turn it around, go back? Because
you want to listen.
Just want to interrupt right now. I think right now we have had the highest amount of live viewers ever during a conversation. Like, it's you ladies are just doing it. And again, just another thing too, like the Dr. Vibe show on YouTube and hit the notification button so you get notified of these conversations. Also like it on Facebook and LinkedIn. Still more comments will come in here. Let me just go to this. The Autumn says, interesting. Says this, I love your interpretation, but still, class is but a fallacy.
On a certain class, though, when you're the first class, second class, on a plane, it's not even a fallacy. I mean, it's only a fallacy when the plane goes down. But on a ship, being first class is one of the reasons why you'll get off, and the one in the lower class won't.
Yeah, and that goes back to what you said before, Jill, about, look, there were 700 versus 5 people who voluntarily went down. 700 people who a whole government said, yeah, let them die.
Yeah, and for me, that's the bigger story. That for me is like, yo, Greece. Yo.
All right.
One more thing. Let's be very clear. The Coast Guard knew that this happened within hours of it happening. They suspected, but we still spent 5 days
worrying about these people,
worrying and searching, spending money, searching for something that they already knew they weren't going to find live bodies. They were looking for the debris field.
They were looking for the debris.
They were looking for the debris field. They weren't looking for live bodies. They had us thinking they were, but they were.
You made a point about the Coast Guard costing us a lot of money here. And even when we think about Greece and the Coast Guards now, and not even that, just along the whole Mediterranean on another level, this is happening across the world.
Yes.
Many governments are underfunded for this.
Right.
They really are. And they all need to get together and figure it out, because it's going to continue to happen more, because people are fleeing their countries, and whether it's war or it's going to be for their climate, and it's going to get worse. This is why people are actually becoming more selfish, because people are like saying, these are our resources.
Yes.
These are ours. And as we get closer to that type of living and life, it's going to get ugly, because it's all about, that's mine. Oh, what are you saying? I mean, imagine when you're sitting in a room with somebody and you guys only have somebody, what was it like? Somebody took out a biscuit in a movie and they started eating it, and everyone's like, you have a biscuit? We've been starving here on this, island. So this is where we are. Everybody is more like, this is mine. How many people you led into a country or whatever. It's the unknowable, the unforeseeable, and it's going to morally and ethically, maybe it would me up, but it looks like people are becoming more hardened. So maybe they're being prepared for the future that is going to be the ugliest in the world. It's going to be rough.
But isn't
you
that
don't have any emotions. You're going to need to be desensitized for what's coming.
But isn't that like with everything? Think about the COVID vaccine, right? Who do you think got it first? I mean, honestly. So
okay,
it's like,
gotta move on unless you want to go on for 3 hours tonight, ladies. Sorry about that. All right, so just a few more comments here. Black Beauty says, hello, just tuning in now. Hello. Family, welcome, Black Beauty. Aisha's helping me. Email Dr. Vibe to join our Discord. Paul Katz. Paul, I sent you an email with the information. Did you get it? If not, I'll email you again. He says, I thought about that too, Jill. Maybe these people that were on the sub were reincarnations of people that got off easy on the ship and had to balance out their karma. Tila says, more viewers. Yeah, I love the show. Well, tell other people about it too and join the Discord group, Tila. Yes. I'm not going to let anyone respond to this because we got to go on.
Yeah.
The Autumn says, coming from a class sect myself, I beg to differ. We'll take that up.
Discord. We'll talk about it on Discord.
Yeah, get on Discord.
I would like to understand that.
So we'll talk about it on Discord. All right. Next up, next conversation piece. What a surprise. McCarthy backs effort to expunge 45 impeachment.
Surprise, surprise. They showing their faces.
The whole thing is, it's just ceremonial, right? All it's going to do is be a piece of paper, but he was already impeached. You can't take back an impeachment. It's like taking back the experience of someone being arrested and then having their record expunged. They still went through the arrest. They still went through the criminal justice system. The thing is that you're trying to expunge the impeachment, but he wasn't convicted. So it would be different if he was convicted. But you're trying to expunge.
It shows you how desperate they are to make it seem like they're in so much power when they're imploding themselves. They don't even know what they want. They're just trying to line themselves up in case if something comes out. Oh, if this happens, I need to be in the right spot. If this happens, I need to be in the right spot. Showing just how vulnerable and stupid that they are. I have literally this week have had to fight throwing up on everything that has happened on the Congress floor this week because it is a hot mess and this GOP is nothing but just corrupt. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't some corrupt Democrats. Okay, look, I'm not stupid, but let me tell you, this whole thing right here, they're showing us their true colors, and still yet they have backers, which tells you the state of our country.
But they've turned Congress into an aisle in Walmart. Okay, the two women fight. Now, mind you, this comes out after that little trailer park fight on the House floor.
Disgusting.
Because here's what happened, and you have to think. He didn't just come out on his own and say, I'm doing this. He came out because Marjorie Taylor Greene got upset that Lauren Boebert, trying to raise money, introduced her articles of impeachment, and was fighting to bring it to the floor when Kevin already told Marjorie Taylor Greene hers couldn't go to the floor. And so then she's like, well, you're going to have to do something, or else I'm going to
exactly
initiate that article to get you removed.
That's right.
And then
you got to go bye-bye.
Before she went to Kevin, she went to her sister in clanship, Elise Stefanik, and said, hey, I'm going to need your backup on this with Kevin. You have a leadership role. I'm going to need you to push up on this. Roll up with me to his office, and we're going to handle business. And they rolled up to his office, and they said, Kevin, if you don't do this, we are going to introduce this. And I have Elise here, and she has a leadership role to do it. And he's like, and what did Kevin do? He went with his tail between his legs, his balls in his hand, and said, here, let's do this expulsion thing. Because he's a weak.
We're getting done. This is what I'm saying. All of our energy, all of our resources are being done by these stupid people fighting for no reason.
And they've done nothing for the American people.
Nothing. We are not getting
They've done nothing. But Marjorie He-Man Taylor Greene got her handed to her by Lauren Boebert.
It does look like He-Man.
I'm sorry, as much as I hate those bitches, I love it. I'm like, it's so, and it's even more disappointing that this trash Congress that we have, they're all Ivy League educated, and these can't even.
Except for those two.
Yeah, but my whole point is, it doesn't matter. They are still killing the game. You can't take it away from Marjorie He-Man or from Lauren, because Lauren Hooker time, Boebert, because she has a GED, and she's got more.
Only got the GED to run. Remember?
No, the thing is, they're shameless, and in this climate that you're in our Congress, you have to be shameless. Ain't nobody interested in this Porter and her no, okay, you're good, okay, and then there's the other one going, I'm gonna tell you, and then there's the other one. Ain't nobody gives a because now this is. Get your on the table, and if you need to come in there and cut somebody, you won't have to. Yeah. This is what it's like. This is like the Waffle House. Congress is going in the direction of the Waffle House, and I'm sorry to say, but it's embarrassing that all those Ivy League educated don't have a street scent between any of them, because they never see anything coming. It's always after the fact, cleaning up aisle 2. Okay.
Right. And literally aisle 2. Because you heard the man in the background. Ladies, calm it down.
But the Dems are acting like bus boys and the cleaners. They need to run it and be the disruptors.
But this is why they were laughing at her 2 weeks ago when she's asking for decorum. She's asked for decorum 2 weeks ago, that gets on the floor and calls Boebert a little. And then when the press goes to confirm this, her people said, yeah, she called her a little.
Boebert is modeling herself after one other Republican who could see Alaska right outside.
Oh, yeah, right there.
You don't see the makeover.
Alaska from my house.
How she's looking. That's who she's going for. And when you do that with memory, and it warms up. Now, if Marjorie He-Man wants to come and look like, what general could she look like? Or General Patton, maybe people will start getting sense memory or looking like a G.I. Joe. Maybe they'll start to warm up to her. But they got her looking like, who was it? Crazy Town. What's her name?
Well, but remember the reason
Palin.
Yeah, but remember the reason that they're doing that too is that they have this aesthetic about them, right? The more attractive one is the one that they're going to give deference to. Marjorie Taylor Greene looks like she could kick Kevin's. He's not going to she looks like she served 25 years in the military doing hard time.
But when we were talking about Remember the guy in the Titanic who tried to push his girlfriend out to get off the boat?
That's Marjorie.
That's McCarthy, actually. Yeah. That's Kevin McCarthy. He is the dude that will push his whole family out, and he is not a man. He's so weak. It's like, I don't even know how you would go to dinner with that. He just likes the show, and he likes to look like he's tough. Did you see the way he was standing there after he had over John Lewis at the stamp thing that they unveiled the stamp?
And he was happy about it.
All pretending like they did so much. They stabbed John Lewis in his back before he died. I'm sorry.
I know it.
Well, none of the Republicans should have been allowed to be there. And I don't understand why Democrats sit up there and nobody created a funk. I sure would have been all up in it. Like, no, you are not going to come to the unveiling. Yeah,
here's the other part of it too. American people are just dumb. Having worked on the campaign to help get Marvin Gaye his stamp, they think that the Republican people are going to think, oh, the Republicans got this. No, it was actually regular people that got it done. But they did the ceremonial thing, the unveiling.
Right.
But here's the thing. Oh,
but they should not be allowed to go to the unveiling.
But we're not going to do the voting rights thing because that's just a bridge too far.
Right.
But the Supreme Court handed them their on Alabama with that.
But the crazy thing is, I don't get too ahead of myself that they won't get to be able to have their impeachment series or even have it happen. Because the reality is I've seen stranger happen in these last couple of years that I would never say never. I just wouldn't. I could wake up tomorrow and Donald Trump could be president again at the rate we're going. I mean, yo.
But they're going to try and do it, though. They're going to try and kick it down to whenever this trial starts is the day that they're going to start having to host their.
When the Waffle House decides that we matter, they will go in there every day and get really busy. I don't need to hear about AOC and her whatever. I need you all to be superheroes right now. Yeah. And I need you to shut that down every single corner. Right. I love my guy Dan Goldman. I love
Jasmine Crockett. She's the only other one
that's my hero.
That's my next t-shirt.
Then all of a sudden, the only time I hear
one with her on it because that's my girl right there. I'm getting ready to get a
t-shirt. Ilhan when it's something about she's upset because Modi came. Bye. Yeah. I'm so sick of you dragging us for years with your personal. And your husband probably did take the money. It's like, and so what? I'm just done. I am so done. I don't even know what to do. No. She has been nowhere because she can only deal with one group of people at a time, even though she is a constituency of God knows how many. I don't like these silo representatives. You represent.
That's what I love about Jasmine Crockett because she is bringing it to Lauren Boebert every time. When Lauren Boebert tried to test that woman, she said, I'm the one that went, since she did not go to law school, didn't even finish college. I am a lawyer. I will say this about the law. It's like she brings it to her every time.
But I'm sorry, Boebert is making it look like those that are lawyers and those that went to college, it was a futile thing. That she's making a fool out of everybody. And it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if she becomes president one day. I tell you.
Oh, don't deal. No.
I'm gonna jump in because there's too much fire and there's way too many comments. Catch up time. The Autumn says Walmart is more classy. LOL. I like that. Walmart and the Waffle House. Okay. Mm-hmm. Paul says, Dr. Vibe, I did get Discord invite, but it looks like I didn't jump fast enough and the invite expired. Might need a new email. While the ladies were having their fun, I just emailed you again with an invite. So do it ASAP. Paul says, Marjorie, He-Man, Taylor Green, Jill, you slay me. The Autumn says, again, you can't learn common sense. You have to be born with it.
You can't learn class either, but didn't keep them from Congress.
The Autumn says, Custer, the general.
That's what she looks like.
Okay. Black Beauty says, Stefanik, MTG, and Boberg remind me of an episode of Women of the Roller Derby.
Oh my God, yes.
Yes. That's so, and Tila goes, Black Beauty, LOL. There is a question. We'll just spend a few quick seconds on it. Tila asks, it was the Waffle House during McCarthy's election vote. Remember the grits flying during that?
I do.
Yeah. That was you know what that was? That was after you ever see after at predominantly white universities when they win a game and then they go out and they destroy the street and they destroy everything. That's what that was. Those 15 votes. That's what that was. They were about to burn the house down.
It's true, but our people have got to get it together. It's and you know, I'm seeing a few, but you know, and I know they're not all on media. Ayanna Pressley was saying something the other day, and she started to come out and get whatever publicity, but their staffs need to be hammering so the media, so we break through a little bit, because
and the media has to stop going to the same people. Let's just also say that too. Roland Martin does a good job at bringing in more people, but the media, like MSNBC, has their few people that they have on standby. They have CNN, the same thing. And so the media has to be a little bit less selective and more open, because remember, there are 435 members of Congress, not 10.
Okay. Tila says, yep, LOL. Jill will be back in just a moment. We're going to move on to our next conversation topic. And everyone who's watching live, your comments are fire. But also make sure you join Discord. It's just pushing that. Sorry, just got to say that. And Paul, I'm hoping that by the time we finish our conversation today, you have joined. I'm keeping an eye on the Discord. Next conversation piece. Hunter Biden's plea deal.
Oh, they are going crazy.
They are losing their minds. Oh my God. You would think that he stole government secrets and kept them in the bathroom or something.
Maybe.
Or made a deal with the Saudis for $2 billion for his kids. I mean, you would think that he did something else. Here's what it boils down to. Hunter Biden, what drug addict do you know is going to say that they are on drugs when they're buying a gun? He lied about that. Okay. What drug addict do you know is going to pay their taxes on time? He didn't do that, but he did pay it back. Donald Trump still has yet to pay his impeachment lawyers. Okay, let's talk about that. He has backed his current lawyers for his criminal indictments into a deal where they cannot say they're not going to defend him if he does not pay them. Okay,
and he's not gonna.
They're not weighted the same. And these false equivalencies that the Republicans are trying to do. First of all, I remember a time where, regardless if they were little children or adult children, you did not go after the children of a president.
Right. That's
okay.
Right.
The only reason people went after the children of Donald Trump is because he put them in office to work with him. No other president has done that before. That's a conflict of interest right there. But also beyond that, Hunter Biden did not steal anything. He paid his taxes back and the late fees. So
and he's not a public servant.
He's not a public servant. And he made a deal that legal scholars are saying, guess what? He has to plead guilty to something that most people would just get a slap on the wrist for and would get nothing, not even anything on their record. Tax evasion, no one gets that put on their record unless it is something really, really, really serious, multitudes of years. Donald Trump has yet to pay any taxes. He has yet to show the American people his taxes, period. He is the biggest tax evader. Yes. And he hasn't been arrested. So I don't understand this. It's just the same. Why is Hunter Biden, guess what? Here's what they're not saying to their people, and they're not saying it loud enough. And Democrats need to get on the ball and hammer this home. Trump was offered a plea deal. He did not take it. That is why he got indicted on 37 counts and now has to go through a criminal trial. He was offered a plea deal where he could have served less time, maybe no time, and just been convicted. And now he's facing 400 years, and that little bitch is crying and trying to get all his people to do his bidding because he realizes he screwed up.
He sure did.
He screwed up.
Well, no, he did not only screw up. He just thinks he's above everything.
He thinks he knows everything. He thinks he's so smart.
Yep.
He's not. He's dumb because every chance he gets, he's got diarrhea of the mouth on Fox TV, and Jack Smith is sitting there with his remote control.
Taking notes.
Stop it there. Okay, let me upload that. I'm gonna put this here. I mean, that's what it is. This plea deal, all these shenanigans, this pearl clutching and these painting from the vapors of, oh my God, I can't believe you got this. It's all bull. It's all bull, and it's meant to distract from the real thing. Because remember,
that's right.
Remember, Republicans were going to complain about it. Look, Hunter Biden could have gotten 25 years, and they still would be complaining that he did not get the death penalty. Okay, so regardless, they're going to complain. This was their thing. It wasn't bigger than what they want. They wanted it to be such a big scandal it would take Joe Biden down, and it didn't. And
he put on his big boy panties and faced up to what he needed to do.
Yeah. And everything they said, that they all the things they're like, oh, remember the other day when you posted it in Discord, it's like, oh, we've got these 17 recordings. And I was like, hold up, let me check that. No, they had nothing. They just said that they had it because
they do.
Smoke screen.
They knew.
They always say they have something, which is,
like the guy that had the witnesses and said, oh, well, I don't know where the witnesses are. I'm going to bring them to Fox. I have them there. And then when they brought him on Fox to have his witnesses talk, they're like, well, where are your witnesses? Maria Bartiromo was like, well, where are your witnesses? I don't know. They went somewhere. They're in hiding.
Waste of time, waste of taxpayers' money, waste of everything. While we need to be getting done in Congress, you're doing smoke screens and you're pulling out the hat that doesn't exist.
Well, I think they should start looking for everybody who's lied on their applications regarding their being felons and having guns. I personally think that should be a deep dive that everybody goes and looks into. Yep. I think if this is going to be the bar that they're setting, then let's all dig in.
Let it be across the board.
Gates has a gun. He's got DUIs.
Let's go see if Lauren Boebert, who is a felon, or her husband, didn't he have a gun and in the house and whatever? How did they have guns? Did they apply or lie on their documentation when they got guns? I mean, maybe they need to have some issues with a gun deal, right? A gun charge. I mean, and you want to weaponize the IRS? I mean, this just shows how they do it. They weaponized it against Lauryn Hill. They weaponized it against every Black person that I know, but nobody wants to talk about that. Then they want to deal with, like, personally, if anybody's going to, I mean, come on, let's just call it what it is. It's white Republicans, and they're, again, and if there's anybody I know who's still calling themselves a Republican, don't send me any Christmas cards, and you won't be hearing from me if I can help it, unless you're faking the funk, because the reality is it's embarrassing. I mean, it's absolutely, what kind of a moron do you have to be a Republican? Let's just.
And not only that, but
not a moron. What kind of a real race where thing is going on? What kind of like, oh, we like the way it used to be. Really, the way it used to be? Well, it ain't that way. Like,
we had a president with a whole Adderall addiction, and a son with who
huffs in his underwear.
And a son that still has an active cocaine addiction.
Yes.
He shows up doing his little videos with powder on his nose.
And a girlfriend who looks like a smelly cat.
You're talking about Hunter Biden being at least Joe Biden cared enough about his son to put him in rehab. Donald Trump's probably over there.
I can't believe she was married to Gavin Newsom. It just shocks me every day. Every time I think about that, it's when I don't donate.
Donald Trump doesn't care.
Married smelly cat.
But look, Donald Trump doesn't care that his son
going on. Oh, is she different? Yeah.
Okay, let me jump in conveniently.
I love
Karen D says about Hunter, he doesn't hold an office.
Exactly.
And then the Autumn says, Orangeade is confident he will get off. Black Beauty says absolute wisdom in Hunter Biden's guilty plea. Dems definitely need to give this a more positive coverage.
Yes.
The media when we need them, question mark. And then Tila says hypocrisy 101. Go ahead.
Remember when Ajax came out with an orange Ajax in the 70s?
Yes, I remember. I remember hearing about it, yeah. But you know what though? Think about this. If there was if he got any kind of special treatment, the special treatment would have been that Joe Biden would have fired the prosecutor, the special attorney looking into it that Trump assigned to start it. Because remember, this is something that Trump started. Well, Joe Biden was like, let him do it. I'm saying out of it. That's what the president was supposed to do.
But I don't know. If you mess with my kid and I'm president, I'm going to you down so hard. I would appreciate Joe.
You know, though?
Down. No, for real.
No, but I'm kind of glad that he didn't. And the reason why is because you know what?
I admire him for not doing it.
No, but here's the thing.
That I just don't know if I could do it.
But here's the reason why he did it. Because he knew there was nothing else other than those two things. And that he knew they were taken care of. He knew there was nothing else. Because remember, their whole search thing wasn't for the taxes, and it wasn't for the purchase of the gun. They were trying to see him give more money to Joe Biden and Joe Biden to have taken money, and there's have been some interference with Ukraine and all these remember, because all this stemmed out of Donald Trump getting caught doing a quid pro quo. So he couldn't go that route to get secrets on Joe Biden. So he's like, oh, we'll do Hunter. And that's when they blew up the whole thing about Hunter's laptop. Because remember, the thing that they were trying to find on Hunter's laptop were those QAnon conspiracy things, that he was part of some sex ring and that Joe Biden was also part of this. That's where that larger part came from. And so, you know, Joe Biden, cool as a cucumber. They're not going to find anything.
The sex ring? I don't know. Donald Trump was friends with Ronald Epstein or whatever his name was.
Yes, exactly.
So when you start, kids were supposed to be off limits, right? They went after Malia, Sasha. They've gone after
Chelsea Clinton.
I mean, why would you go?
Remember, they went after Chelsea Clinton. Bad.
Yeah, exactly. So my whole point was, why doesn't anybody talk about his son Barron? I know a lot of stories about him, about his school in New York. A lot of parents do. So what? We're all decent people, but I'll tell you, it pushes you to the limit. Not that I know.
Yeah, and Republicans in their hypocrisy went after Sasha and
I've
Malia.
seen journalists write articles about that boy in his school. And I'm going to tell you something. Then they pull back and don't say anything. But the reality is, why do you go after somebody who has a clear addiction? I think it's wrong. I think it's trolling. And so nepotism. But who isn't? It's like they're all make money off of mama, daddy, this, that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So here's the bigger story. Here's the bigger story. Donald Trump was indicted twice. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Who was not there? Look, who was not there when Donald Trump was indicted? Look, at least Joe Biden and Joe Biden came out and said, we love our son. Melania said nothing. Melania said nothing.
But she has never been significant to what he is as a president or anything.
But she still went back and got herself a re-up on this prenup.
Yeah, but she did end up going to Bedminster with her son and showed up, which she always toes the line.
We're shutting this one down on this one. A few last comments. The Autumn says Biden is not an abuser of the office.
Exactly.
Autumn says also sex ring. LOL. He trips if a hard breeze catches him. And then Karen D. Spill the tea. What about Barron?
I don't think that they're very close.
But you know, the sex ring, I mean, Donald Trump, again, indicted for what? Lying about paying off a porn star.
Can I just say something about relationship? This is why Donald Trump is not even human to me. You have teenage kids. You don't get along. I mean, we all go through these ups and downs with our teenagers. That's what I've heard about him. I think it's unfair how he has been with that kid, how he stands, and the body language is so awful. And I just can't even imagine, he's at the end of his life and he's not even trying to make amends with the people who, especially your children. I don't respect people who do that. I'm sorry.
He's also at the end of his freedom, which you would think that he would be trying to at least, spend as much time with his family as possible.
Where is it?
Absolutely. It's like, this is your
trying to tell y'all, and Ivanka's like, oh, she's over in the corner screaming.
All right, let's move on.
She's wearing garlic around her neck.
Okay, so Karen D says, I'm in New York City and haven't heard anything. Not that I care. And then another person, Karen D, let's put it up. Put it up, Karen. Okay, how come this thing is not? Oh, there we go. I just downloaded Discord. Karen, just email me and I can send you the link. And Black Beauty says, spot on, Aisha. They assume Hunter and Joe were going to go down in flames regarding Ukraine and said there's nothing linking them.
Yeah.
Nope. There's more linking Trump to a.
He tried to kill the woman who was the ambassador in Ukraine,
Yep.
guys.
Sure did.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Next conversation piece. House censors Adam Schiff for alleging collusion between 45 and Russia.
They did this because they could. I mean, let's be clear. They just did it because they could. My understanding about censoring someone, remember when Gomer Pyle or whatever his name is, Lou Gomer, or Huckleberry Finn, whatever his name is, the
Louis
dude that
Gomer?
was the racist, right? Remember, Democrats wanted to censure him, and Republicans went off the rails and said, no, that should be something that the party does. And so Nancy Pelosi was like, fine, let the party do it. And they did, but they still kept him let him keep all of his assignments or whatever.
And that was wrong.
And that was wrong.
And
that was very, very wrong.
Because when the Republicans censured Liz Cheney, they ripped her apart.
Exactly.
Let me tell you something. Democrats should have never let this happen. I'm sorry.
This
never. And that's where I'm done when they do stuff like that.
But what were they going to do here with the censure? They couldn't.
I don't know. Find laws like the Republicans.
There is no law. They don't have they did not have the vote.
Aisha, don't you think it's the Republicans always find something?
They do.
They always
I went to go look at
this. I never even knew in civics class.
But see, I went to go look at this in the rules about the censure.
1625 that said,
you got to remember the reason that they got off the last time and were able to do this with the other dude was because Nancy Pelosi allowed them to do it.
Right.
That is the fault there.
Like I said, it was Waffle House time when that went down.
That was the
fault. Didn't act like it. They were still ordering pancakes.
But this here, they censured him for something that happened 2 years ago when half of these members of Congress weren't even there. Right. That should be that right there. That should be the one thing
and
that they
Trump
should not
wanted
allow.
his vice president hung, and we still can't get that.
Right.
He's running for president again.
Here's my thing. You know what? If you're going to censure him, then only the people who were in office at that time on your side should be able to vote.
I agree
because
on
if
that.
that was the case, then it wouldn't have happened because all the Democrats, with the exception of a few, are new, but the majority of them had their seats 2 years ago when this happened because they had the majority. And so the fact that you have people like George Santos, who is under indictment,
who is under investigation, there.
He should be censured.
Waffle House. They're the Congress Waffle House.
But the thing about the censure, here's the thing. Here's the part of the censure is that the censure, they couldn't do anything. They can't do. It's like what? It's just. Oh, it was a vote. We took the vote, and now what happens? What? He can't sit on his committees. Oh, you didn't take that away. He can't speak on the floor. No, you didn't take that away. It was a symbolic gesture that they did just because they could. And
let's give him some credit.
Tried to find him for like millions of dollars, guys.
Yeah.
He also tried to attach, what was it, $13 million?
Yes.
Like, come on. This is something that even in our censoring, I'd never seen that before. So this is my point. How come Republicans are always going for everything, the long haul, like they just do? It's time for the new Democrats who come in there to be as ratchet as I don't give a ain't no like
because Republicans are the people who lay on the floor and cut the Heelys, the tendon. That's what they do. They go for the weak point. They do it every time. And then, when it's done to them, they're terrible to me. But I will have to say this because my man got up there and his speech was so on point. And I'm praying that America really heard what he said. He's like, you can find me 13 million. Mm-hmm. You can find me 150 billion. You're still not going to stop me from what I'm doing. And I loved how he stood up and spoke the way he needed to speak. So,
and then he did what they did. And he raised money off of it too.
Now do you see why I think he should take Barbara's office?
Yes.
The Senate. Because everybody wants to just give it to the Barbara whatever. when Feldstein leaves, because
he's raising money off this big time.
Because he doesn't have a life in this Congress, guys. He's got to jump. It's like the
Democrats are smart,
and they are coming for him.
Yeah. Yes. And if Democrats are smart, they would tell people, you know how much that censure vote costs you? $10 million. $10 million. Because remember, you got to count everybody's salary. You got to count all the clerks, all their salaries, the cost to keep the lights on, the amount of time it took, all the security, all of that. It cost a lot of money. Republicans didn't gain anything. The American people just ended up with a bill.
The Democrats don't do themselves any favors, because there's something that becomes less human about them, which is like they don't even respond the way normal people should respond. It's always so like, let's be very corporate about it. And it's time to let that go. It's time.
It's a new day and age. We can't
because
do that
that
anymore.
is how the constituents, at least 51% of them, are responding to. They are responding to some craziness that's coming from the Republicans. I mean, look, Lindsey Graham has changed his whole shtick. He's, not uptight Lindsey Graham. He's like, y'all, I don't even know anymore. Right? He just doesn't right. But he knows that his new constituents understand this.
Well, that's like what is his name? John Kennedy out of Louisiana, who was a Democrat, had no accent, spoke very well, then became a Republican, and now he leans into that foghorn leghorn stick.
Honey, his whole family's not even paying no attention to him.
All right, let me just interrupt.
Trail with the rum in it, honey.
Okay.
It's like Lindsey Graham showed up. We was out on a smoke break, but he's been here. That's what I know it's terrible, but it's Waffle House time, guys.
And here's the other thing too.
They're giving us Waffle House every day.
I get that Democrats want to show a clear line between crazy and normal, but you're not having normal reactions when you don't react.
Right.
That's not normal.
No.
That's right.
Okay, let me just jump in here. Tila has made a great suggestion. Dr. Vibe, you need the Waffle House to be a sponsor. Paul says, Aisha, love your point about only the people who were in office a couple of years ago should be able to vote. The whole thing is so performative.
Exactly.
He also says, let me go here. Dems don't go after Santos because Dems are in this whole thing of, quote, let's not meet fire with fire, or quote, we don't want to stoop that low, unquote. But they ought to at least once.
Every time he speaks, somebody should say, I do not have to respect you because you lied to get in office. You're not even who you say you are.
I would have been, no, your mama didn't put any money up for you. What is it? Who dropped the money off at her house?
Didn't they release that?
Yes.
I'd have to go and ask the neighbors, did a big car roll up here? Did they show up with a suitcase?
Okay.
It came out that he couldn't even afford to fund his own campaign.
Okay.
People should have known his mother didn't have $500,000 to.
This one I'm going to look under my mattress.
Next thing you know, he's going to say she got it from the 9/11 settlement.
Thank you.
Black Beauty says,
got it, son. Here we go, bucket. I keep it over here specially. It's supposed to be, it's under the sofa. Dax.
Black Beauty says, bring it, ladies, preach, loving it. Somebody please replace the even news with the ladies. Okay. Wigmaniac says it's become the Jerry Springer show between MTG and Bovert. Yeah. Jen says, Aisha, foghorn, leghorn. Paul, this Waffle House thing isn't going to let go. He says, oh, Waffle House news. All the waffles you ain't fit to eat. Okay, Tila goes, Paul Katz.
You should think that's Waffle House.
I also think at the front of Congress, they need to put one of those big things where people go at a carnival and you go, and I think Marjorie He-Man Taylor should come out every day and go, start up Congress. I wish it said, and then you should have
Congress the bearded lady. To a whole carnival, right?
Yes,
yes.
what it
You
is.
have the two ladies throwing balls at each other to see who can dunk who first.
Yeah, if I were a billionaire, I would totally just be like, okay, you know what, guys, I'm going to send you all something for a party. It's going to be like, here we go. And that's how ridiculous.
Yeah.
Marjorie Taylor, remember her showing up to the State of the Union dressed as a white balloon?
With those muscles? I mean, really?
Oh boy.
She should not be wearing fur.
We're moving on. We're
doesn't
moving
have a
on.
delicate form enough for it.
Jen Myers goes Black Beauty 100%. Oh my goodness. Let's see if we can get to our last conversation piece, which is another interesting story. The U.S. Supreme Court latest opinion means innocent people must remain in prison.
Disturbing.
Says the Supreme Court, who needs to be in jail themselves. So, I mean, come on. Y'all, who's behind this, y'all? Uncle Tom. Oh, excuse me, Clarence Thomas. So,
it does beg the question, what is his deal, y'all?
He doesn't have one. He's got
a stick crazy. But so far, it's like, dude, why are you so angry? And he reminds me of, remember when Dave Chappelle did that skit about Bixby?
Yes.
Who was a black Klansman?
Yes, the black, but he's blind. Yeah.
That's him. It's like he hates black people so much.
And he probably don't even look in his own mirror because he can't stand to see himself, because he really
all
does
of them are pretty bad people. All of them are bad. All the Supreme Court justices, most of them now, we know the presence that they take, and they've all done it. Alito, forget about it.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I heard about some of that this week.
I mean, what do we do? It's this whole Leonard Leo thing has put them all in place, and it's those evangelical, radical, but those Catholics, it's just so much right now. And
that's why I'm with the White House about expanding the court.
Here's the thing that's even more disturbing. A few people, they did a ruling, the Supreme Court recently, about separation of church and state. And on that side, they landed like, okay, it's got to stay separate. Well, newsflash, there's been some, like, these states are saying, no, we're not listening to you. So now the big question is, what do you do when they're not listening to you? We know y'all don't even make people respond to subpoenas. So now the states have decided, even with that abortion law or the law that, not the abortion, when there was a law that just went into place about letting the states determine. The problem is that the states have decided anarchy. They're not going to listen to the Supreme Court. And while
Alabama actually has a school now that is a religious school that is being paid by the taxpayers.
Yep. Yes. And I personally, it goes back to, why are we paying taxes anyway now? Why? And if I'm paying into a religion that I don't support, I don't think that's cool. That's not it. And, America was not founded on any of Jesus's principles. So can we all just stop that? Stop that lie. That's a lie.
But
the devil is a liar.
But what bothers me about this latest decision is that it made me think about Khalif Browder, who spent however many years in prison. Came out and killed himself.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is what is going to, it made me think about him, and it made me think about Sandra Bland. Because remember, her family, she was only there because no one could get up the bail to get her out.
That's right.
This is making me think about people like this and what will happen.
The outline of this, of what it really means, like from the arrest or while you're in jail. I mean, what about your appeals? They mean nothing. What do these district courts, what are they trying to unravel the district courts with these kind of rulings? Then what do we need appeal courts for? Just for corporate?
Exactly. And then you juxtapose this against innocent people remaining in prison and a man who admits on a daily basis that he took classified documents, military secrets, the codes to people's nuclear weapons, and he is out free. They put him out on his own recognizance.
They sure did.
And they're not even sure they got everything. And so that shows you how up the system really is. And you gave him deference just because he used to be a president. I'm sorry. Where in our Constitution does it say that the president cannot go to jail? You cannot put bail or bond on a president. I don't
That's
understand.
the thing. All of this is unprecedented. So therefore, this is why we're in this conundrum, because that's how nothing was put into place for any of this, because nobody saw this kind of freaking corruption.
LaLa, they have, this is what you're saying, it's unprecedented, but this is a part. This ruling is so wild that it's even up here. And it's part of a bigger plan.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I don't doubt that.
And the biggest question is, wow, in the middle of all they decided we're going to do this too. There's other things on their list that they are trying to erode. It's kind of like Loki just came into the planet and just started checking off. You know what I'm saying?
I totally agree with you.
And this is part of a master plan. Mm-hmm. So if you have this kind of a law, what kind of a country are you going to have? That means that any of us are vulnerable to being put into a jail with an accusation and never getting out.
Yes.
It's
but
like
then it also ties into
I got arrested for trespass in 2012 for asking for a second opinion.
Exactly.
I would have stayed there.
This is very, very dangerous. This one is, they've done some, but this is a very dangerous against our civil liberties. And that it is it federal that they want this to be? Or is it a state, you guys?
It's federal because they can't do the federal.
That's even more disturbing. That's really disturbing. And who's going to overturn it? The next Supreme Court judge? See, RBG or RGB, whatever her name was, she does. She puts down. Everybody prayed, oh, she was so great, whatever. Should have retired. She really did do us all a disservice. Yeah. You know, these judges like to think about their legacies.
Their legacy is that you didn't
like they all unravel at the end.
Like they can't let it go. To be wearing no jackets or shirts of hers. Yeah. This whole thing was there is a master plan here, and it's not cool because there's more, and you know there's more devil in the detail coming along down the pipeline because these people are so shameless. We are sitting up here stating. You took a job, you went off with this billionaire somewhere and you got millions of dollars. Yo, this one bought your mama's house. This one is paying for your like tampons. Your wife is, and you don't even care. And you know what? You got to pay attention when there's people who are absolutely shameless because they're robots. They have a mission. It's like somebody just
they don't. Yeah.
And keep in mind, it's
you're going to walk through that fire no matter what people throw.
Look, keep in mind, it's the two that ask for extensions on revealing all of their gifts and things that this stuff is coming out. Alito and Clarence Thomas both said they needed more time, but Ketanji Brown Jackson, she told about her $1,200 floral arrangement from Oprah,
right? And that's a little low if you ask me for Oprah. I'm like,
all right.
Could the whole room have been filled?
All right.
Don't get me wrong. When they started destroying our icons like an Oprah and different people who really were when we've decided now we're going to trash some of our greatest icons who have gotten us through things, our Toni Morrisons and stuff, is the day y'all knew these were coming for us. Yeah. So I'm going to be a part of that. But I'm sure Miss Ketanji's sitting up there like, what the did y'all put me in?
Right. Right.
Like, oh, she might go home and just go, oh.
Look, I promise you, every day, her and Sonia Sotomayor look at each other like.
I imagine Ketanji every night going,
no.
Like for an all good time.
Yes.
No,
because
look,
I'm sure that's what it was like.
Only two people of color, because Clarence doesn't count. The only two of color probably look at each other every day like every day. They probably look at each other with that look.
We're done.
Black women give each other and women of color give each other like.
Well, actually, okay. Okay. One last question that's from the audience, and we're going to end out because again, you guys can go on forever tonight. There we go. Here we go. Black Beauty says this new law is very concerning. Is the next part of this potentially striking down amendments to our Constitution? Can Aisha speak to this?
You know what? Someone mentioned this on the news the other day that one of the problems that we have with our Constitution is that it was written in 1776.
Yeah. I saw that.
And we haven't had a constitutional convention since. And so the world that they imagined, remember, people back then didn't imagine anything longer than their lifespan, which was like what, 45 years old.
Yes.
So they couldn't even conceive of us being here. And remember, those were some of the most crooked people, because what was it like? More than half of them owned slaves when they made these laws about everybody's free. So we should have a constitutional convention, because just remember, we have various populations and pockets of people who were not included in that original convention to help make these laws. These laws are designed to protect land holding, which means wealthy white men who are Christians and
that's
have
what Republicans are doing.
And that's exactly what they're doing. And so everything that they're rolling back now is to get us back to that period, 1776, 1955. They don't even want to go back that far. They want to go back to 1776, because they're always talking about our forefathers were great. Our forefathers were this. Your forefathers raped Black women, beat their slaves. They made their wives sit and watch all of this and then perpetuate white supremacy by birthing more children that they would raise to be little kneeling men like you when they grew up. And so here we have this conundrum where we are living by this Constitution that is outdated. Put it this way, when your Windows goes out, we're at Windows 11 now, and you have Windows 10. What do you get the alert that says, hey, you might want to update your Windows, right?
Right.
We need to do that with our Constitution.
Yes.
We have to have an update. We have amendments.
We talked about this a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Which is that there is a promise between the Republicans and the evangelicals to get this whole grouping together, that when all the states actually have these certain laws and legislation, and they can actually shift some of the Constitution. Okay. So far they have, and that we've talked about, that is the move, and it's happening, and they're pushing it more federally.
And they're in the way that they're doing it. Remember,
last comment, Aisha.
The way that they're doing it is that they are filling these state legislatures with their people so that they change the state constitutions. And when these state constitutions are changed, and you have X number of them, why do you think all these state constitutions and these governors are putting through these abortion bans? Why in all these states? Because if X number of states have them,
19 have it already.
19 have them. When they get to half, they will go to Congress and say, let's make this.
And
better.
They'll rewrite the Constitution.
Yes.
And they will,
Well, my last thing is, it pissed me off that the Democrats weren't thinking to do it first.
No.
Okay.
Sleeping on the job.
All right. We're done. That's it. That's all. We finish. I'll tell you something. This is amazing tonight. But a few comments.
On Discord.
Yes, well. So Paul's joined. This is good, but a few more conversation pieces here, and I didn't want to interrupt, but these are going back a bit. Let me see. Okay, T-Law says, or Paul says to T-Law, was Yahoo for the Waffle House news or the Dems going after Santos? T-Law goes, LOL. T-Law says the Waffle House. Paul says, LOL. The Autumn says, T-Law, seriously, Pete's be crazy and we let them lead us. Shake my head. T-Law says, as Dr. Vibe always says, the more I know, the less I understand. The Autumn goes, at least we have an outlet with the Dr. Vibe show. Thank you.
And Discord.
Yes, Discord. And this, okay, already so that. Okay, yeah, there's just a pile of comments. The Autumn says, I'm not easily impressed, but this panel has me on the edge of my seat. Kudos. There we go.
Thank you.
Margaret Walker from the Greater Toronto area, a lady who I'm helping with her business. She actually does wood refinishing of furniture.
Oh, wow.
Says, loving the enlightened discourse. Thank you. Jen goes, loving this conversation tonight. Tila, bravo. One of the best shows you all done, and hilarious too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I have to say, this is one of the shows I felt like just getting up and saying, see you when you're done, call me, all right? Text me when you're done. I said, text me when you're done tonight, all right? But it's all good. So definitely a great conversation as always. I love Realty Goddess is multi-purposing because she just put something up on Discord. Hello, multi-purposing. All right.
We all showed up in black shirts tonight too.
I know. We're the black shirt.
We'll have to make sure our uniforms are together. That's part of the presentation. All right. One other comment here. Karen D goes, happy Pride weekend.
Yes. Y'all be safe out there.
Yes.
And the autumn, I will be joining Discord. All right. So let's get some things. Let's get the ladies to do their IDs, and then we'll do the Discord thing. So, what a conversation tonight. First things first. LaLa, where can people get a hold of you?
You can find me on all social media at Realty Goddess. I'm a little bit of an addicted person to that. So, and I do answer back. If you ask me questions, I'm there to answer them. So,
and she does very entertaining content, entertaining and engaging. Next up, Jill D.
I am at Twitter, Jill D. Jones, and Jill Jones Music on Instagram.
All right. Next up, we have Aisha K, and I've just got to find your stuff. So bear with me for
it's right. AK Staggers on Instagram, and you can find me on Discord if you join.
And me too. Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I've got to find Aisha's thing. Hold on
it's
a second.
Already.
Well, we'll leave it at that. I have more of a lower third, but it's up already. All right, good stuff. All right, so then there is, as we say en français, moi. And you can get a hold of me at a number of different places. I'm just trying to find this. See, it's been so cray tonight. There we go. Website, the drvibeshow.com. Email dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, The Dr. Vibe Show. Twitter at drvibeshow, and Instagram at the drvibeshow. If you heard that click in the background, that's more people making comments or someone joining the Discord group. So there you go. So speaking of the Discord group, let me put it up here. There's just so much to work to do tonight. Let's see. There we go. Join the Discord group. Please email me at dr.vibe@the drvibeshow.com. Also, you can watch replays of this epic conversation at the website, the drvibeshow.com. Also, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, The Dr. Vibe Show. Whoa, you work me out tonight, family. Work me out tonight. And you know what? I'm just gonna do a little quick. You can take a quick look at the Discord channel. I'm gonna just put it up right now. And more, see, they're already got. See, the ladies are finished. They're already going into the Discord channel. Love it, love it, love it. So, what's going on the Discord channel as we speak? Let's put it up. Okay, Realty Goddess just put something in there. Oh, there we go. Oh, she just put a nice thank you. Hey, yeah, Paul. See? So that's why you got to join, people. That's why you got to join. All right, let's take it off screen and put me back on the main screen. Here we go. All right, that's how we do it. So as always, actually, there's some more comments. So I'm just going to do. All right. Wig Maniac, loved it. Wig Maniac, just sent you an email. As soon as we finish our conversation after the show, I will be sending you a link. So Wig Maniac, looking forward to joining. Thank you. And you'll see, if you think tonight is robust, during the week it doesn't stop. During the week, it's more cray in the room. So there we go. Let's finish off, everybody. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourselves grace, and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. By the way, this is officially the most viewed live State of Things we've ever done. So keep it going, share it out, join the Discord group, And so next weekend, we'll probably take next weekend off because it's a long weekend in Canada and it's a long weekend in the US, 4th of July. And we do need a break. I think we need a break, especially I need a break after this one. I don't know about everybody else, but I need a break after this one. So follow us. We'll keep you up to date. And we may have to chat because Jill said we may need to do more than one show a week. Just a thought. Actually, on the Discord group, would you like us to do more than one show a week? Just putting it out there. Take care, everybody. God bless. Peace well. Keep the faith. Walk good. And we'll see you soon.